This is the moment when we must build on the wealth that open markets have created and share its benefits more equitably.
Share better in the wealth to rebalance the power.
Bring about redistributive change.
A degree of redistribution.
Redistribute wealth.
To distribute wealth.
Growth and global development.
To mobilize more partners and deliver results.
Give them the wealth. Give them the wealth.
Okay. So that's the option. Redistribute the wealth globally, not to people who make $30,000 here. Oh, that's just the beginning. It's already happened. We're seeing it now in Germany. Germans are now on the hook to pay for the bailout of Greece through a financial activity tax. So hardworking Germans are being forced to give their money to the Greeks who work about 6 hours a week and spend the rest of the time, I think, just lounging around on the beaches in their Speedos. Put some pants on, man, and go to work. Why does Germany have to do that? Did you know that you have already contributed $54 billion, your dollars, to the Eurozone bailout? Because we contribute 17% of what the IMF uses in such instances. China, by the way, makes up 3%. We are 17%. According to the CBO report on cap and trade bill, U.S. households would not receive all the value of allowances because some of that value would be directed overseas to help developing countries adapt to climate change or to build the institutional structures they need to become providers of international offsets. Wow. TARP, supposed to be used for domestic lending. Wasn't that what we're told? We're going to save Main Street by saving Wall Street. Yet JP Morgan and Bank of America sent a combined $8 billion to build up China and India. Oh, and let me show you this picture here. This is a great picture. This is Acorn in India, talking about global standards. Acorn. Ask yourself this question, and especially if you're a labor worker, if you're a union member, not a leader. I know where the leaders stand. Just ask yourself this. You've been lied to for so many times. We all have. We've all been lied over and over and over again. Is it more likely, does it make more sense that they're going to bring the American and German standards down? You know, where $30,000 makes you the wealthiest 7% of the planet. Are they going to bring the rest of the world up to that 30,000 or up to that, 70,000, 55,000? Or do you think it's more likely that when we globalize, and they're doing this in Germany now, they're going to tell us you have to accept much, much less? Labor members, ask and answer that question, because you're being promised all kinds of things right now. You must see they're going global. How does that help you? How? Back in a minute. Last night's program, if you TiVoed it and you haven't watched it yet, please do. It's an important show. It's on social justice and how it is infecting our churches. The same thing is happening with immigration. After the passage of the Arizona illegal immigration law, it's not in the churches. Remember, we had Nancy Pelosi talking about one thing. Now we have NBC News. Now we're crossing media and state. They're preparing a cross-network examination of the state of immigration in America for May 26th. It's going to be called A Nation Divided, NBC Nightly News. It'll be a series that'll spread all across all of the platforms of NBC. NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, and Telemundo. Really? You know what those networks all have in common? They're all owned by Show Me GE. Okay, it would have been cool if it happened, but we don't have it. GE. The same GE whose CEO, Jeff Immelt, is on Barack Obama's Economic Advisory Board. The same GE that has been bailed out by this administration. The same GE who helps this administration by programming Green Weeks to push climate change. The same GE that we know will be one of the biggest winner if cap and trade is passed. Wow. Are GE's networks now just doing the bidding of the state? Are they the government's broadcast arm? Is NBC America's Pravda? You can decide for yourself. Back in a minute. NBC, the merging last night of church and state, tonight media and state. Here is a little sample of how, so far, NBC's stable of objective journalists have been handling the coverage of the Arizona immigration law. Here it is.
It does offend me when 1 out of every 3 citizens in the state of Arizona are Hispanics, and you have now put a target on the back out of 1 of 3 citizens who, if they're walking their dog around a neighborhood, if they're walking their child to school, and they're an American citizen or a legal immigrant, to now put a target on their back and make them think that every time they walk out of their door,
they have to prove it.
They may have to prove something. I will tell you that is un-American. It is unacceptable, and it is un-American.
The people who are here illegally have a pivotal role in making our country work. They do all kinds of jobs that keep our economy going, that keep us fed, our houses cleaned, our gardens tended, and the like. When you're looking at removing those people from the system, it's odd to me that you would get so much support. I mean, nationwide, the polls show more than half of the people think that the Arizona law just about gets it right. Why do you think there's so much support for this law when the consequences of removing those estimated 12 million illegal immigrants could really devastate our economy?
Critics are having a field day with this, Sheriff Arpaio, as you know. Some are calling for a business boycott of the state of Arizona. The Homeland Security Secretary, used to be the governor of Arizona, says she doesn't like this bill. Editorial cartoons are making fun of it. Here's one where a guy goes up to a fast food counter, orders nachos, and is immediately surrounded by police for probable cause. Are you worried that it affects the image of your state?
So it's not just Hispanics that should be concerned about this law. I think it's anybody and everybody who worries about their civil rights.
That right there. Jack, come here for a second. Come here for a second. Jack's our sound guy here on the floor, and friend, and we were talking about this the other day. I mean, they have the same opinion of people in the White House that haven't even read the bill. It's interesting, isn't it? Jack, this is your grandmother?
That's my great aunt.
This is your great aunt? Mm-hmm. And where's your mom? This is your mom? Your mom was from Jamaica, right?
Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh, Nassau, Bahamas. Okay. So these are the citizenship papers. And Jack brought them in for me to show because he remembers as a kid, he remembers the pride she took in these papers, that it was a big deal to get them, and the way she kept them. I mean, we've had papers before. We're not even asking for papers like this. That's not what we're even talking about. Anybody who has read the bill, and we did, thank you, Jack. Anybody who read the bill, which we did on our radio show today, it took us about an hour, and we got about halfway through. In just that first 10 pages, I think it says like maybe 6-7 times, this cannot be based on anything but the Constitution. It cannot discriminate on race, ethnicity, or nation of origin. And you have to be stopped for something else. And if the cops don't, the cop goes to jail. Let's talk the truth here. Let's talk the truth, huh? Because the truth will set you free and also will set the fire and consume all the untruths. Back in a minute.
Revisionist history. What the progressives aren't teaching you about American history. The stories you need to understand. You'll only get it here. Friday at 5 p.m.
Well, if you missed some of the show, you might want to check out Obama's apology tour and some of the other stuff that was spent on the show today. You can go to glennbeck.com and spread the stuff around, will you? Some of the stuff that in history has been lost, and we're going to set the record straight on Friday. It's a show you don't want to miss. We'll reveal the truth. From New York, good night, America.